Okay?
And action.
Action, yes. When the Chronicle of Narnia, C.S. Lewis says something I have not forgotten. In fact, it was in a movie we saw 2, 3 years ago. And it begins by saying this: in the land of Narnia, or wherever the place was, he says, it's always winter and there's never a Christmas. And I thought that's really a powerful way of describing the world in which we live. That without Christmas, it's always winter. There's never going to be a time of a new beginning like springtime, living hope, something that's meaningful and lasting. Apart from Christmas, it's always winter. As we live in a broken world where everything runs down, wears out, comes to nothing, and sooner or later, we will succumb to that same change and decay. Living a life, if that's all we have, for no meaning, no purpose, and we come and go, and that's it. So that just came to me. Again, although I think about that every now and then, it's such a powerful way, where it's always winter and never a Christmas. And so Christmas is really good news of God breaking in upon this world and bringing us a message of real love, real life, everything that's necessary for life, to be loved, to have a purpose, to have power for life, certain hope of heaven, etc. So it's our prayer, and it has been and will continue to be, starting with ourselves, and that all of you would live a Christmas life. Not just at the Christmas season, but as the year goes on, that you'd celebrate the Christmas life, the Christmas love, the Christmas joy, the forgiveness, everything that Christ brings to you. And as I say, that's certainly the essence of our prayers for you. Well, we get very specific for you for certain things, but we do pray that you would know the power and the joy of the Lord in your life as long as you live. There's just nothing like it. And we don't have to settle for winter all the time. We can celebrate the presence of God, the love of God, etc. So, I want Ellen to share with you a delightful little devotion we came across in the Daily Bread called the Seventh Stanza.
Okay.
Right?
I can read it. In the summer of 1861, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's wife, Frances, died tragically in a fire. That first Christmas without her, he wrote in his diary, quote, "How inexpressibly sad are the holidays," end of quote. The next year was no better, as he recorded, "A Merry Christmas, say the children, but that is no more for me." In 1863, as the American Civil War was dragging on, Longfellow's son joined the army against his father's wishes and was critically injured. On Christmas Day that year, as church bells announced the arrival of another painful Christmas, Longfellow picked up his pen and began to write, "I heard the bells on Christmas Day." The poem begins pleasantly, lyrically, but then takes a dark turn. The violent imagery of the pivotal fourth verse ill suits a Christmas carol. Accursed cannons thundered, mocking the message of peace. By the fifth and sixth verses, Longfellow's desolation is nearly complete. It was as if an earthquake rent the hearthstones of a continent, he wrote. The poet nearly gave up, and in despair I bowed my head. "There is no peace on earth," I said. But then, from the depths of that bleak Christmas day, Longfellow heard the irrepressible sound of hope, and he wrote this seventh stanza. "Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. The war raged on, and so did memories of his personal tragedies, but it could not stop Christmas. The Messiah is born, he promises, I am making everything new.
Yeah, what you focus on will control you. Well, that's a powerful thing to remember in life. What you focus on will control you. Now, if you want to focus on the world in which we live, and we're having more and more problems all the time, because more and more people want to live where it's winter without any Christmas, right? More and more people want to deny God, reject God, mock God, do away with God. And what's the consequences? Have we entered into a great new time of great living, of love and joy and peace, etc.? Just the opposite, isn't it? Wars, millions of refugees, people killing one another and finding joy in killing others, people living in fear. And so that's part of our prayer as we focus ourselves on the good news of Christmas, living out it every day, that there is a good news Christmas, a gospel of love and forgiveness for us, a God who's sovereign and who rules and reigns. Because if you look only at this world, you can be very discouraged, very bitter and angry, and just kind of get tired of living and say there's no reason for life. Let's just eat, drink, and be merry. And God says, no, I've got a much better plan. So that's our prayer for you, for ourselves. And we'll celebrate God's Christmas as long as we live. But let's take it one day and a year at a time. That's all we get is one day anyways. So we'll see. So anyways, that's my story for today. And I'm sticking with it.